I want to personally welcome back all 15 now of our subscribers, Coach Griff, after our latest video. I'm sure they're eager for the new episode, and it's here, and with a special guest for a few reasons. Colby Wilson, one, he was my college roommate of 2 years, so he's one of my closest friends. We still keep in touch, whether it be via conversation similar to what we're having today or, any other personal matters. He's one of my best friends, so, we're glad to have him on. Two, kind of a full circle moment. So, like I said, Colby was my roommate for 2 years. After that, I continued for graduate school. He kind of moved on, went to the NCAA, went to Pitt. He'll touch on it, etc. When he ended up at Pitt, it just so happened Coach Griff was doing an internship at Pitt where he met Colby prior to me meeting Coach Griff in grad school. Or it might have been, was it the transition to second year?
You just didn't really care for me yet.
No, I think it was the other way around.
No.
But kind of a fun full circle moment. Didn't know Coach Griff until graduate school. Knew Colby throughout undergrad. He left for graduate school, met Coach Griff. Coach Griff and I re-intervened, started this, and now we have the opportunity to have you. So it's pretty cool. One as a friend, but two as someone who is definitely was influential at Springfield for sure, and is now influential in the role you're in. So we appreciate you coming, joining the podcast. So thanks for being here, brother. I will have you start, just kind of give an introduction, background on yourself, whatever you want to share. What got you to this point, why you passionate what you do, etc.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Hey, you can tell y'all been doing this for a little bit now. That was a good little intro.
Is that natural?
It was pretty smooth. I got to give you that.
Are we vets now?
I think y'all might be some vets in the game. I was taking notes. So appreciate you, Caden, Griff. Appreciate y'all having me on. But yeah, like Caden said, Colby Wilson, from the Massachusetts area. Me and Caden started out talking about sports when we lived together. I root for all the Boston teams. Caden got some different fandoms that he got. So yeah, that's where I started. Always been someone who loves sports, and always been someone who loved people. So that was kind of two things that helped me lead to Springfield College, where obviously Caden and I were roommates. Something Caden didn't mention, he was a very good baseball player there. He talked a little bit about me. I ran track and field there, was pretty involved on campus, but Caden was a good baseball player. I think he might have, there might be some things that he holds at that school related to some hits he had. But yeah, man, like Caden said, Springfield College, just a place known for helping people jumpstart careers in the sport industry in a lot of different fields. But also a place where I just feel like anything you want to do and become as a person, they give you the opportunity to. So I think Springfield was a place coming out of high school, grew up, not a lot of people look like me. Not a lot of people really understood kind of things I was passionate about. And I think Springfield gave me a community and, people like Caden who were around me to support me and also had some similar goals. So just got really involved at Springfield through the athletic department and on campus. Believe it or not, Caden and I were orientation leaders. So we were running around screaming at 6 a.m. at people. So we had some good times doing that, but just got super involved. And they really gave it back to you when you bought in. So got sent to a couple NCAA programs through Springfield College. So I went to a program called Career in Sports Forum in 2022. Kind of got introduced to the different avenues there is in sports, all the different careers. I knew I was going to work in sports. I studied sport management, but I didn't know much outside of being a coach or being an athletic director. So I kind of learned all the different avenues and being there, I was like, I want to do something where I'm impacting people. And that was what student athlete development was. So knew I wanted to do that. And the NCAA also mentioned their post-grad internship program, super competitive program, tough to get into, but if you get in from there, your career can kind of take off and really puts you on a different trajectory than the people around you. So I was lucky enough to get accepted into that. Went and worked at the NCAA for a year in leadership development. Met so many people who are role models, mentors to me in a lot of different ways. And I think I just, more importantly than anything else, learned how to be a high-level professional as a young professional in my career, which I think is hard for a lot of people. So really just got off on a really good foot in this industry. Met a ton of people, had a lot of professional development, a lot of personal development, both in and out of work. And then kind of from there, knew I wanted to build more relationships. My biggest thing in life is building relationships with the people around me. Kind of like Caden said, we talked, like we have these conversations offline all the time. And it's like, I would have never gone up to Griff at a, like if it was just some random gym, like he's obviously doing something right in the weight room. I'm getting allowed to work in the weight room. Like I knew there was something that there's a connection there. So I think kind of knowing all those things, like I wanted to be on a campus where you're seeing the same people every day. So my time ended at the NCAA, and went and started a job at Pitt, University of Pittsburgh, in their life skills department. Very historic department. They were the first like student athlete development department on campus. So they've been around for a long time. That's where I met Griff, like we just mentioned, but was there working a lot with career development, did some work with NIL there, and then a lot of leadership and personal development as well. Had a good time at Pitt, but knew it wasn't going to be a long-term home. And luckily got a call from someone at Maryland, our student athlete development person. Her name's Daisy. She worked at Springfield when Caden and I were student athletes there. And again, power of relationships is everything in this industry. She called and was like, look, we got a job. I think it's a fit for you. Like, check out the application and see what you think. Lucky enough, applied, got the job. Been here at Maryland for a little over 5 months now. And it's been great. Feels like a long-term home, just a lot of good people, a lot of diverse people, like people from all walks of life. It's just been a really good place and a really welcoming environment. Just feel like I'm really able to make my impact and use the skills I have at a level that I haven't really unlocked before. So excited to see where it goes when I unlock that. Kind of to tell more about my role here at Maryland, do a lot of leadership education. So we have 3 pillars. That's the pillar I oversee. So I oversee our Student Athlete Advisory Committee. It's called SAC for short. But all the schools in the country have one of those. It's basically the voice of the student body that goes to the administration. We meet monthly, talk about different issues on campus, different things going on in the NCAA as a whole, and also do a lot of community service. So giving back to local College Park, Maryland, DC communities. We're a team of 4, so we all intersect each other's kind of different areas. So we also do a lot of career development, helping kids find internships, jobs, those types of things. And we also, our 3rd pillar is self-discovery. So when you put the ball down, when you hop out the pool, when you hop off the track, like who are you and what's important to you? So I think it's a really smooth system. That's kind of the beginning. I kind of sit in the middle. So giving them opportunities while they're student athletes. And then from there, bringing them to the end, which is whether you're going to the pros, if that's your career, or you're going to find a job or internship in something you're passionate about. So I know I just talked for a long time, but like to give people the background. Again, I'll say it 100 times, but people are going to be at the forefront of everything I do. I love relationships. And my vehicle is always going to be sports because it's something that helped me get through life. I learned a lot of life lessons through the various sports I played and coaches I had. So those are going to be the two vehicles I use to impact in my life forever.
Yeah, I was really excited for this episode of the podcast because it's going to be a different perspective for us. Cade and I, who are more involved in the athletic development, and then we like to think that we also cross over into the personal development as well with how we're building relationships and impacting people. But I'm just excited to talk to somebody who's that's your job. That's your role is, yes, you're working with athletes, but your role is to be helping these people develop and have a plan for when they leave school. So I think the first piece I really want to dive into is that leadership aspect. So you overseeing that leadership pillar, like you said. So if you could just share, what does that look like for you? What are the things that, what are your goals that you're trying to teach these kids and leave with these leadership qualities for them?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question. I want to mention one thing before too. One, y'all are definitely hitting on the athletes in the relationship aspect and developing them as people. I left this part out too. A track athlete at Springfield, these 2, obviously, we're the strength and conditioning coaches for some of my young teammates, and they love getting to know y'all.
Come on.
I mean, lots of good guys. I got to give a shout out to my guy Penta. I hope he watches this. That's the little bro. That's my training partner. And also Caden still makes my workout plans. So they still these guys still my lift coaches now. But yeah, man, I think leadership is so important, and I think it's something that like comes off as simple to people who don't see it every day. But I think there's a lot of steps to becoming who you are as a leader. And I think confidence is a big piece of that. You have to learn a lot to understand who you are. If you don't know who you are, you can't lead other people, plain and simple. But I think for me, when you talk about qualities you want them to learn, something we also do in the spring, I lead a leadership academy. So we do a 5-week leadership academy. And kind of the way I break it down, it's 5 1-hour sessions. So I break it down into 3 phases. So the first part, you need to know how to lead yourself. So we're going to start off, what are your core values? What are those 3 to 5 things that you stand on in your sport, in your personal life, and in your day-to-day at work? Like, who are you as a person that's consistent everywhere you go? And then kind of that next piece, we go into different behaviors you have. So there's a lot of different assessments or different tests you can have people in our student athletes take. So kind of learning what behaviors show up for you and who you are as a leader. Like for me, I know I'm someone who leads off energy and in my positivity. So I know what my superpower is that other people don't have is I'm able to bring that energy that other people need, but I'm also able to build one-on-one in private settings with people. So I know, yes, I can give you that energy when you need it, but I also know I'm more of someone, I'm not going to be, I can be up in front of the room yelling, getting people going. I'd much prefer to be in a one-on-one setting, building those deeper relationships. So trying to help our student athletes figure out that piece of what are kind of the behaviors and tendencies I like to show as a leader. And then that second piece is leading others. So effective communication, it's something that's very hard for, 18 to, 23-year-olds now in college, maybe a little north of that. But, these kids, we were actually talking about this at work today. We had a really good discussion. A lot of these kids, like they missed some really important years as teenagers because of COVID. Like instead of, middle school, we were all messing around in school, like fighting with your friends, joking around. Like they missed a lot of that social interaction, and you can really see it show up in a leadership lens. I think you have to have your seniors and your older teammates on the team that are your leaders, but you take a football team, all 105 members are a leader in some form, one way or another. So I think trying to help them learn that communication of you might not have the title, but you still have the ability to lead. So learning that, and then also just including different opinions, like just because you're not a leader or just because you're a freshman who doesn't play, you might have the best idea for what's going to bring the team closer. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that not a lot of people understand. Like you can lead yourself great, but you need to have other opinions and hear those. You don't always have to agree with them. If you're the one making the decision, you don't always have to agree, but you need to be able to listen and respect what people think, even if y'all might not be on the same page. And then the last piece we're trying to hit on this year that I think a lot of just student athlete development as a whole, we see as a theme, like we're trying to teach them like what now? Like how can I put into action what I learned here in these sessions? Like I could teach them what their core values are and how to communicate with others effectively, but if they don't know how to tangibly commit to the things they've learned, like it's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, man, that's kind of the Leadership Academy. And I think leadership shows up in just a lot of different ways in the things we do. Like even I think about me as a student athlete, like I think I was a leader on my team, but I think the way I led the best was by example, like showing the younger kids how to take in their younger teammates when it's their time to be older. I don't think I ever was trying to assert myself as we didn't have captains or anything like that. I wasn't trying to assert myself as like the guy or anything, but I wanted to show them like, I'm here to welcome you in and I want you to continue to do that to your teammates. So I hope that's something that our kids are learning. Our student athletes in Maryland are amazing. Lots of great people. I think we just need to continue to give them the tools and the confidence, honestly, to be leaders. I don't think this generation is told as much that they're great. I do think they need to be a little bit tougher and a little more resilient. So we try to give them some tough love. We're very honest with them. But I think they need to be lifted up. Their coaches are pretty hard on them. And with the times of college athletics, I think the focus on the athletes as people is lessened. So that's something that we're super passionate about because we know that there's different priorities in college athletics today. It's a tough question to answer because I think there's so many different environments that you can be led in. So I'm gonna be boring, but I'm gonna say no. I don't think there's one way. I wouldn't say there's one thing I've seen that's best. I'm partial to the way I learn things. So I like someone who's going to be direct with me and tell me if I'm doing well, tell me I'm doing well. If I'm not, tell me how I can be better. But yeah, man, I think the biggest piece of it really is just as a leader, knowing what your superpower is. I think we all have something that makes us different, and that's why the world goes around. That's why we have successful people. If we were all if Griff was trying to be Caden and I was trying to be Caden, we probably wouldn't be as successful. So I think just knowing what makes you different and what, as a leader, what attracts people to your word. I like the word influence, what allows people to be influenced by you. Not from a place of being arrogant or cocky or anything like that, but I'm confident knowing that I'm someone who people naturally gravitate to based on the kind of the warmness I meet them with and that energy I provide. So I think being aware of that is super important, but I don't think there's one way that's better than another. You meet student athletes at such different points, especially with the transfer portal now, I could get a 22-year-old who just got to campus and has one season, and I could get a 17-year-old who enrolled early. So I think you have to meet students where they are, and based on where they are in that journey, they need very different leadership styles. That 22-year-old who just came from the portal, they just had 3 years or 4 years of their sport somewhere else. So they don't need me to teach them how to be a college student or how to get into routines and kind of hold their hand. They probably need more of that directness and this is what you need to work towards to progress out of here type of thing, versus that 17-year-old who enrolled in college early and they're still not even an adult. They need help with all those things. So I think something our staff does well is we kind of, like I said, we meet them either at the beginning, the middle, or the end. And knowing that even if me and Griff are the same age and we came in at the same time, Griff might be further along on his journey and need a little bit less guidance than I might need. So I think just continuing to learn the person before you learn kind of how they like to be led, through conversation and building that relationship, I think you can tell the kind of the different ways people will respond to you. There's certain student athletes who I've gotten super close with, and they can come to my office and I can tell them hey, I need you to do X, Y, and Z today. That's just what it's going to be. And there's others who I'm still super close with, and I could have to walk through from the beginning, hey, you did a really good job on this. Let's break down this so we can get better in this area of life. Yeah. So I think it's different for everyone. So I think just being able to, I think when we were growing up too, coaches were very much one size fits all. And I think now we've gotten to a place where we realize not every athlete can learn the same. So I think just being able to see who needs you where on their journey.
Yeah. That communication piece is so interesting to me. And now being in the role that I'm currently in for a little over a month, I'm really, really starting to learn firsthand. And it's obviously multifaceted in terms of communication's happening all the time, but so what I mean is with my current, with the current team, the current athletes, but also you kind of talked about with this current generation, if you will, but I'm seeing it in recruiting a lot.
Yeah.
So not only you talked about effective communication, dude, but it's unbelievable how many kids I reach out to who've already expressed some sort of interest in our school, and I'll email them about hey, are you available for a phone call at this time? Never get a response back. But here's the thing, the software we use, I can see if and when they opened the email.
Yep.
These kids will open the email upwards of 10 times. Some of them do respond. some of them respond and say, yes, I'm interested. Some of them respond and say, no, I'm not interested, coach, or like I've already committed somewhere else. But it's unbelievable how many kids just think it's okay to just leave someone, like to just never respond to someone.
Yeah.
Like for me as a coach, it's like, just tell me.
Yeah.
And for me, like, I know one of my core values is honesty. So I'm always honest with people. And then I think to a fault, I expect other people to be honest with me. Like I always give people the benefit of the doubt and I try to take them at their word, which maybe is my own fault. That's one of my own biases. But like that's one of the things I'm learning and communicating with 17 and 18-year-olds at the time. And then, the current roster as well. But like that communication piece is crazy to me. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know how you work on that other than
Right.
You just tell them, hey, it's not okay to just not respond to somebody. Like, what are you going to do if your boss reaches out and sends you an email? I'm not going to respond. What do you mean?
Yeah. That probably won't get you too far.
It's just a basic skill. Like,
Yeah.
just tell me the truth.
Yeah. It's crazy how many of them don't have those basic skills. Like that's something like I don't even necessarily know that like we learned. Like it was one of those things that I'm sure, granted, over time we got better at and got coached up a little bit, but no one ever had to tell me, hey, Colby, if Coach Miller from Springfield reaches out and you want to go there, you should probably answer him.
It doesn't make any sense.
Correct. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. So
and,
it's like,
and what I know is going to happen is a month from now, I'm going to hear back from some of these kids.
Mm-hmm. And it's the funny part about, and track is such a funny sport, but I think being a D3 athlete, one of the funniest parts about it to me is like a lot of these kids that end up going to D3 schools think they're going D1 the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, and I know this is something Caden and I have talked about a ton. Like, we were good athletes and we know we could have gone and competed at D1 schools, but I would have much rather gone to Springfield, had a great education, and been one of the better long jumpers in the region every season. Yep. Like, yes, I could have gone to the D1 school, but granted, we went to BU and I beat the UMass and UConn guys every time I faced them. You know what I mean? And I think it's funny because now being in that Big Ten space and having been at the ACC, like I see what it takes to be those guys. Like I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have jumped here. Like, and I know that. So that's why when those D3 schools or those lower D1 schools reached out, I was going to answer. But these kids I think social media plays a role, and obviously the NIL piece. But I think these kids see the money other people are getting, or they do this cool photo shoot at Maryland when they come on their visit. But it's like, no, man, if the goal is to compete collegiately and be somewhere where you can really like grow and get better, unless you're like in track's a numbers sport. If you didn't jump 25 feet, don't think about it. Yep. Go be dominant in that D3. But to your point, like it's like we have to teach the kids to not use all lowercase when they're sending an email. Like that's something that it's the soft skills, like the soft skills that they just didn't, like you kind of just pick up over time.
Like you said, it's like, when did we learn that?
Since when did becoming a personable human being be such a difficult
why is it such a chore?
Ask.
My mom always said, like, we talk about it now because it's just funny, like seeing where we grew up, like it's probably in the past 40 years, like less than 10 people who've gone D1 and like had continued success. And like my mom will always say, like, if your kid from 6U ball through high school was not the clear hands down best player on the court, on the field, whatever it is, they're not going D1 in suburban Massachusetts. Like if they're not going out there and dominating every single game,
right,
it's pretty unlikely that that's going to happen. So I think, and granted, like you said, there's different situations. Like if you're someone who's coming from maybe a background that you didn't have as much support as what we had, and maybe money's not what it needs to be. Like now you see these kids getting $1 million. Like I understand that you want to go D1 and chase the money. I don't fault anyone who does that. But for the people who are more fortunate and don't need to do that, like I just think, and we were talking about this before the call, but college athletics is just in a really weird place where the college degree has lost its value, but also like just getting the chance to compete has lost its value. Like being a Division III athlete is still very hard to do. like probably less than 10% of high school athletes continue on to college. So I think and obviously we're passionate about this because we've all been in the D3 space and around it. And obviously now I'm in the D1 space, which I love too, but I was a D3 athlete, so I'm always going to reference my experience.
There's a lot of competitors.
Yeah. We need to get back to a place where you're competing at the collegiate level and you're getting a college degree. That's amazing, regardless of if you're on scholarship, if you're paying student loans, or if you're making $2 million. Either way, you're still going to do something that not a lot of people get to do. And I think that's why what I do is so important to me, because at the end of the day, if you're going from making $1 million right now, your first job, you're not making six figures. When you go work a job, you're taking a massive pay cut from being a college athlete if you were a big earner like that. So I think it's so important to me because I work with those people, but I also work with people who still love their sport, but are here in Maryland because we have a great education and they want to have a great career after. So regardless of, you could be the highest of high earner, or you could just be a walk-on who loves their sport and loves the university. I want to help you become who you dream to becoming, or who you see yourself as when that ball stops bouncing. So I'm glad we touched on that, because one, why D3? Great experience. Shout out Springfield. But two, that college degree and just being a college student athlete, it's losing so much value. Even little things bro, me and Caden being roommates, that would never happen at a lot of these schools now. These kids are getting off-campus solo apartments or buying houses. I just think there's a lot of things that are changing, and I don't know. We're gonna have to adjust with the times, and I'm glad to be in it because I care about the people. But it's the next decade will be very defining of what college sports becomes.
Yeah, and I want to, Griff, before you move on or whatever. I disclaimer: I missed about 3 minutes right there because my Wi-Fi went out. I hope the transition was fairly smooth. But if I am,
we were just having a conversation,
just because I missed it. But
it was actually better watching here, Coach.
I'm sure, honestly, I should just leave. You touched on the competition aspect. Even at our level, can't say that Springfield baseball was the peak of Division III baseball. I think we all know that. But even at that level, you have a handful of individuals year in and year out that are there just to say they were there, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, we paid to play. Right? Yep. We paid to go to school for the opportunity to play because we enjoyed competing that much. We love the game that much. Mm-hmm. And there's so many things that I learned from competing, whether that be on the field, team lifts, competing with myself. Life's a competition overall. You know what I mean? You're competing with yourself on a day in, day out basis. Obviously, the people around you, the workplace, in different ways, obviously. Mm-hmm. There's less dogs now, man. There's less dogs, dude. Diego Pavia, did you watch the show on Netflix?
Yeah.
That dude, say what you want about him, whatever. Now he's a dog. That dude was doing things to put himself in a position to succeed that no one else was doing. Mm-hmm. He got himself to the place he was at. You know what I mean? He looked himself in the mirror every day and was like, I have to do this whether I like it or not. Mm-hmm. And he got rewarded. Mm-hmm. Now, not everyone has to do that, but overall, just the level I'm at now and the athletes that I've seen, there's less people that are just willing to do that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the nature of the times we're in. Everyone wants a quick fix to everything. How can I make money quickly? How can I become successful quickly? How can I buy a house quickly? This, that, the next thing. It's just not reality, man. And it's the same goes for sport. The same goes for leadership. All the things we're talking about. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there just based on what I've seen.
I think honestly, just to hit on that quick, I think Division II and III are a truer brand of college sports right now than what Division I is. Division I is professional sports right now, especially for the big three.
I'm gonna explode at some point.
I won't go down the tangent.
We need it.
And I like the way you said that. It's no more dogs. It's no more dog. It's at our level, right? You talk about Springfield, you were probably good enough to be a day one starter, but you had to work to get your turn. You know what I mean? I had to work. I wasn't the best long jumper on the team day one when I got there. I could have been, but I wasn't. I had to do some things and adjust to new training. Like, and instead of seeing when it got hard, saying, nah, let me go somewhere else, I was like, nah, I'm gonna work my butt off. I'm gonna do what coach tells me, and I'm gonna get to where I want to get. And like, I think now it's so different for me. Like, my mindset is so different than the people I work with, the student athletes I work with, because for them, especially, granted, it's really only the big three sports: football, men's basketball, women's basketball, but it's happening across all the sports. Like, when times get hard, like let's say Peyton Manor was the catcher here at Maryland, and there was a sophomore here who was really good and beat you out for the job. You, in today's day and age, someone who isn't you, because you are a dog, someone who isn't you would see that guy beat them out and say, yeah, I'm gonna hit the portal. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead to Pitt. I'll go ahead to Pitt. And then Pitt has a junior catcher who's been catching for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play there. That season doesn't go how they want. Oh man, that didn't work. You know what? I'm just gonna hit the portal. I'm gonna head to LSU. And I don't blame the athletes at all. It's the system that is failing these 18 to 22-year-old kids.
Yep.
If I was,
Is that good leadership?
I think it could be better. I'd say, like, I would. My stance on it. Let's say I was a cornerback. I'm the cornerback here at Maryland. I don't start. I'm streaky. I'm on the field here and there. What I would probably do if it was me, I would hit up Coach Griffin, Coach Caden, and say, hey, I want to get in the weight room. I want to get stronger. I want to get faster, and I want to be the starting corner next year. But the way the system is set up, again, I don't fault any of these student athletes, but the way the system set up for them, instead of me digging in and working harder, I'm gonna say, I mean, like, I could do money somewhere else. You know, like Ole Miss just offered me $100K. Like, I might go sit the bench, but I'm getting paid. So then it's like, where is it a business or is it a sport? So I know
Griffin want to tag in 4 years and make $100,000 each year.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a college career not to play a snap.
I got solutions I think would work, but I'm gonna wait till that day comes. That
I'd love to hear them. Honestly,
you want me to give you some things I think will work? We'll touch on NIL. So this is
I got a few things to say. I'm not going to go in right now, but
this is my stance. So I think
that'd be TV.
I also I also think not everyone understands what revenue share and NIL is. So I'll give this context to the viewers too. So the way it works for the Power 5 schools, you have rev share, you have NIL, and you have scholarships. So every team has a certain amount of scholarships. Let's say, like, track, for example, your roster cap's 40, you have 18 full scholarships. You can choose to give 18 fulls, or you could give 10 fulls and then 8 partials, whatever. So that's scholarships. Those have always been there. And then you have NIL, which is your student athletes getting paid based off jerseys with their name selling, different brands they're working with, all that. And that can be leveraged through them, through agents, or through the school. And then you have rev share, which is just newer this year. But basically every school is getting $20.5 million from the NCAA to pay their athletes. And that's going to increase by 4% every year for the next 10 years. So it'll get to a point where schools are getting close to $30 million in rev share. You have your NIL money, and then you have scholarships. So I think, and I don't think the student athletes all understand that. Like, a school could offer you $100K, but a different school might tell you we have $100K in NIL. So then if you get $100K in NIL and you're getting rev share, which you have to get based on who you are, if you're making that much money on NIL, you're already making more than that other schools offer. But it's because it's a business now. Like, these agents can try to leverage the schools in that type of way. Like, again, none of this is the kids' fault. And I really wouldn't point fingers at anyone, but the system as a whole, we need to make some changes. So if I were the one to make these decisions, the first thing I would do is put a salary cap in to play. I don't know if you want, I think it would be cool if you just gave each school a salary cap, but you could make it by sport. So let's say every school gets, I don't know what the number is. Let's use 25 million. Every school gets 25 million that they're giving their student athletes. I think you have to divide it by sport, because a school could just decide to be a powerhouse in something because they have that money. So if we're going 25 mil, realistically, 23.5 of that is going to football, basketball, and basketball. Your other 15 to 17 sports are splitting that 1.5. Like someone like Quincy Wilson who's coming here. I'm not sure what the deal is, and I don't want to talk about that since I'm working here. But someone like him, people think is making $1 million. I would say it's very unlikely that that is the case. So I think the solution is you give every school a $25 million salary cap. Football gets 21. Your basketballs each get, let's say, 2. Obviously, those numbers don't work because there's kids making 5. But in this scenario, every school has the same amount of money. Then it goes back to a place where your student athlete development people or your education, your degree, still are the things that are getting you to that school rather than who's throwing the most money at you. If everyone can offer the same thing, we're in a better place. Because, Griff, I know you're going to hate to hear this, but the money's not going away. It's going to be there. It stinks because, like we talked about, the value of being a college student athlete is dwindling to the business of being in college athletics. But if we went to this route, then you would still be able to leverage good coaching, history of a school, your support staff. So training, athletic training, student athlete development, mental health. Like,
what separates the school now that everyone has the same amount?
If the money's all the same, it's a good spot. But right now, those schools that have more donors or more success are going to obviously have more money. So I think it's interesting, man, but that's kind of where my head's at. And there's other things like the portal, easy example. I'm cool. You get 1 free transfer. Cool. If you transfer again after that, you have to either have an injury, a coach leaving, something like that. And I personally, if you transfer a second time to a third school, I think you have to sit out a year. Like Derek White transferred from D2 to D1 because he was a really good basketball player, still is a really good basketball player. Got to throw that in there, obviously. But he made that transfer because he said, oh, shit, I can probably get to the NBA now. Like, I didn't realize that was a thing. He transferred, he sat out a year, worked his ass off, and is now an Olympic champ and a gold medalist. Like, that is someone who used the transfer portal correctly. Now, like we talked about, people are, instead of when adversity hits, instead of digging through it or just working and getting better, we're going to hop to where the best money is. So I just gave y'all my solution, but I'll let y'all give me your thoughts. And Griff, I know this is a topic we touched on before we got on about just some things that you want to see change. So I want to hear it.
The first thing I want to say is building off of Colby, what you talked about how college has been devalued. And I think it's been devalued because we've overcorrected as a society to the point where we're pushing everybody to college. Like, we think everybody has to go to college because, like, think back to our parents. Like, college wasn't as big of a deal for them.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't get a job without it. You can, but
you almost need a master's to get certain, like a lot of jobs.
Get certain jobs. The counter argument to that now is, what jobs are there not as many people pursuing?
Mm-hmm.
Trades.
Yeah.
I was in a conversation yesterday. I didn't really partake. I was more like eavesdropping on something, but somebody had mentioned so-and-so might not go to college. And this person goes, how are they going to get a job? They're probably going to get a job a lot easier than I got a job.
Yep. Facts.
Honestly. But no, we've completely we've started pushing people to college, and people are going to college for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to the point about leadership, because as a 17 or an 18-year-old kid, you're not in a position to make a responsible decision about what's best for your future. This is my opinion. And I look back as someone in my, when I decided where to go to school, I did not make the best decision for myself. I was someone who did want to play Division I, didn't have those opportunities. So I chose to go to the best possible Division III school that I could for football. I hated it. I lasted 1 year there, and then I left and transferred somewhere where it was more my environment. People that were more like-minded, and I was able to build stronger relationships there where I couldn't at my first school, because I was so focused on the sport about going somewhere where I could play at the highest possible level. And it was cool. My freshman year, I wasn't contributing at all, but we made the Final Four for the NCAA Division III. So like, it was awesome. Like our game was streamed on ESPN. So like, that was sick to be a part of, but I still didn't enjoy it because I wasn't at the right spot for me.
Man, I think you nailed it. You just nailed it, because one, everyone doesn't need to go to college. Like, even I'm not someone who, it's a big risk, but like we see 16, 17-year-olds doing like content creation and streaming now. And like, granted, I think that space is going to get saturated, but like, I just think everyone should pursue their passions. Like, and you and Kaden both mentioned it, but like, you went somewhere you realized wasn't right for you, and that's why you made the transition to a different school. Like a lot of people, and like we touched on, like, I think that's why my role is so important, because we see people leaving just because they hit adversity. Like, I think a lot of people in the college athletic space now are either one, holding the student athletes' hands, or two, using them as a business enterprise. Like they're not seeing me as Colby the human being. They're seeing me as Colby the athlete, not Colby the human being. So I think like that in between is why people like my role in student athlete development and career development is so important, because we can help them make those decisions. And even if they don't make those decisions, give them the tools to. Like, to your point, at 17, 18, it probably was hard for us to pick the right school on our own. Like, parents, guardians, whoever's in your corner is going to help you make that decision. So like, for us, you probably have people in your corner too when you made the switch that helped you make that. Like me and Kaden, when we decided on Springfield, like, we were both lucky to have two supportive parents that, if it wasn't the right place for us, like, I know John would have told Kaden, like, hey, I mean, it might sound great to you, but that's not the place that's going to be the best fit. Like, I think that's, and now, like, these kids are getting agents at 16 years old. Like, these high level athletes are having agents on the back end of high school to help them get to where they need to get. If you're LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Steph Curry, great, get that agent, because you're going to be one of the best people to ever play your sport. If you are going to start 4 years at a Division I school and go work in sales, you do not need to have an agent at 16 years old. But the way things have gone, you do, so you can make the right decision. Like, it's tough, man. But I'm really glad you hit on that point about just the trades and like it going back to leadership. Like, at the end of the day, everything and every decision comes back to that leadership piece, whether it's the student athletes leading themselves or the people around them leading them. Because I think the main thing that makes a great leader in today's day and age is someone who's honest. Even if it comes to money, like, look, I can't offer you as much as Texas can, but here's the things I can offer you that aren't monetary. Like, and that I would respect that a lot more than someone who is going to tell you they're going to give you the world, and then you get there and that doesn't happen. So I think this is because this is the lens I work in, but I think this whole model of college athletics, it's not going to change. It's going to get altered. But the way we're going to keep it rolling and moving forward is continuing to have leaders who aren't scared to tell the truth, and leaders who are honest with these kids as not just athletes, but people. It's not going to get easier. I mean, like, we all know we're a couple years removed from school. Like, being a young adult is no easier than being a college student. Like, you're paying bills, you're doing a lot of things that are very, like, you're an adult. Like, you're not, like, college is it's a system to help you become an adult. Like, you have so many people who want you to succeed on a college campus. And I think it's harder for the student athletes to realize that now because of the business that college athletics has become. And I think, again, like, any position that's student facing, I think is just so important now. Like, Griff, you know some strength and conditioning coaches that go into the weight room and are all business with their athletes. Like, hey, A block, we're hitting hang cleans, we're hitting RDLs on the turf, and then we're getting to the next block. Rather than they come in like, how was practice today, or how's everyone doing? What's going on in life? Are everyone doing good? Like, and I think even just those little things make such a big difference. Like, I mean, I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm talking so much, because like, it's just it's so, I don't want to say easy, but it's not hard to be a caring person who builds relationship with others.
Mhm.
But it takes time and effort. It's not hard, but it takes a little extra effort, but it's so worth it in the long run. So like, I think that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, but also like what y'all do. Like Caden's back. So I'm gonna say it again because I know he knows the same thing.
Dude, it didn't even give me a heads up. It just logged me out.
It's a tough go.
It's so brutal.
But I was telling Griff, like, I bet y'all know some strength and conditioning coaches who are all business. They send the kids to the rack, they send the kids to the dumbbells, and then they move on to B block. Like for y'all, the student athletes come in and it's, hey, how was practice? We feeling good? What we hit on the track today? Or like, what's going on? Like you know someone's a Patriots fan. Like, dang, you saw like the Pats are moving on. Like Caden's the Broncos fan. Like he could talk about those things. And it's something that's not hard, but it makes such a big difference on the impact you have on those student athletes in the long run. Like I remember, I could name any of the coaches in the weight room on the track like that I had that took the time to do that with me. Like I still talk to Coach Wilkins, my jumps coach from Springfield. He left before my senior year. We had 3 years together. We still talk periodically about workouts. About he just had a kid and started his family. Like we still keep in touch because he taught me how to be. He's the one who taught me how to work hard, but he also cared about me as a human. I didn't hit every single goal I had on the track, but that didn't change how he looked at me. You know what I mean? And I think there's a lot of people, even in the business we have today in college athletics, that would treat the starting quarterback different than the third string goalie on the women's lacrosse team.
Yeah.
Where I think people like us, if your hardest worker is the third string goalie on the women's lacrosse team, y'all are going to gravitate to them. If that's the person who's coming to me to help them figure out a job or internship or figure out who they are when they put the stick down, like I'm going to love working with them more than that high level athlete who might not tap in as much. So yeah, I could go on for hours about that piece of it, but it's just the intentionality. Like if you're intentional about building relationships, you're going to be very successful in this field because not a lot of people are doing that anymore.
Do you end up having a lot of conversations with athletes that come in surrounding coaches and the way they're being coached, whether it be positives or negatives? Is that common?
Yeah, absolutely. I think depending on comfortability with you, I think for me, it naturally has happened with track athletes because that was my sport, but you'll definitely have kids come in, both positive and negative. Like in my time at Pitt, I was super close with our jumps coach. He was someone who did a lot kind of in our space, in the student athlete development space. So he was someone who I always saw and interacted with a lot. So we even had the rapport where like I could tell him like, hey, this person came in, like they seemed a little bit off, or like, hey, this person's really enjoying what they're doing at practice. So you get that positive piece of it, especially as you build with the coaches, because coach buy-in is huge when it's something other than school and sport. We need them to care. But you're also going to get kids who just get comfortable with you and are like, hey, like, you know, I just had a tough day at practice and coach really pissed me off today. Like, I'm really frustrated with how practice went. Like, I don't know how to go about this. And I think that's why people like us who were former athletes is so important for them. Because, I mean, we all had days where we went home and we were frustrated with how training went, or we were frustrated with how our coach led us one day. So I think it's important to teach them. Those are the moments that I really love, because it's not what I do on my resume, but it's part of the job that's so important. Like, them being comfortable to come tell me, like, I had a tough day at practice and I don't know how to get to the other side, shows me that they might have that dog in them and they have that desire to get better. And like, you just don't see it. You don't see it as often now, but you will definitely still see the student athletes come in and still express that. And I think that gives me hope that we're going in a direction where like these kids are going to show that resilience in hard work in the real world. Cause I think that's why so many people want to hire student athletes post-career. So I hope we continue to get that. I think it goes both ways. Like, you're going to have, sometimes the student athletes will come in and be frustrated with something coach did. And I might know in my head, like, as an administrator, like, you're probably wrong. Like, coach had to enforce something with you or teach you something on the track or in your sport just to get through to you. Like, I was a hard-headed 21-year-old too one day. So I think sometimes, like, depending on who it is, I'll tell them like, hey, I think you might be in the wrong in this scenario. But sometimes they'll come in and be frustrated and it's the coach did nothing wrong and they were just trying to help them. But you will also get times where like the kids might come in and it's like, hey, you're like, I can see why you were mad at coach. Like I would have been frustrated with coach too. But I think it's also like respecting both parties. Like I need to have a relationship with my coaches the same way I need to build a relationship with my athletes. Like, again, it's always going to go back to relationships. So like, if someone's coming in telling me about a coach I know, I can tell if it's something like, oh, like Coach Caden, he was off that day. Maybe something was going on in his personal life. Like don't pay it no mind. But either way, like I'm going to respect the kind of confidentiality of the coach or the athlete if I think that needs to be like seen in that scenario.
I just want to go back to like the point about college. Like to me, college is supposed to be about development.
Yep.
Since when did we have to pick whether it's like, why can't we be excellent at more than one thing?
Come on, talk about it.
Why can't we go somewhere that develops us as an athlete, as a student, as a person? The last time I checked, no one's going to play sports their entire life.
No.
Unless you die early.
Right.
Unless you die in the middle of your career, which no one's planning on.
Yeah, we're hoping that doesn't happen.
We're hoping that doesn't happen.
Yeah, LeBron James is about to be done as an athlete. He will have to have a life after that. Granted, he's a billionaire.
And he played forever.
He played for a very long time. He's
LeBron,
a billionaire,
hang it up, man.
Yeah, give it up, please. I mean, he's in a little bit better spot than us when we stop playing.
Sure.
I'm still paying to have played my sport.
Yeah.
But
LeBron,
yeah,
can you help? Can you
Yeah.
loan me?
LeBron, give me a couple thousand. It wouldn't hurt. But Griff, that might be the quote of this whole call. Like, when did we stop being excellent at multiple things?
Yeah, why can't we be better? Why can't we be excellent at multiple things?
I didn't hear that in real time.
Like, for me, when you said that, I was like, facts. Because I think back to college for me, like, humbly, I was someone who was involved in a lot of different areas. I think, like, candidly, I think if anything, I wish I would have done better in my sport. Granted, I'm harder on myself than anyone else would be. I had a great career. I was probably excellent in my sport in a lot of people's eyes. But to me, I was excellent as an orientation leader with Caden. I was excellent as a president of certain clubs that I was part of. I was excellent at getting my young athletes involved, not only on the team, but in some of the things I did on campus. Like, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's that one hit home for me because the way I was raised and the people I've surrounded myself, like someone like Caden, like, yeah, he might have been, he was a pretty good baseball player. I'll give him that for sure. But he was excellent in the classroom. We started out in sport management together. Caden knew he wants to own a business where he taught people movement and strength and conditioning. He wants to own a business where that is something he does. He started out thinking the business route. He switched to the strength and conditioning route. And I'd say he's doing a pretty excellent job at working up that ladder. Like, and he was doing all that while being good at his sport. Like, now it's a lot of times it's like pulling hair to get kids to go to class.
Yeah.
Like, I think
It's just everything's so specialized now. Like you feel like you have to specialize in something so quick.
Even sports themselves. Like, look at basketball, for example. The Jason Tatum's out, so the top 5 people in the world are all international players. Like, JT's the fourth, fifth best player in the world.
That was a subtle like throw JT in.
I had to get it in there. I had to throw it in there. But it's like these teams they have grassroots teams from age 8 to their Olympic teams that play basketball the same way. They have playbooks and play styles that are all the same way. In the US, we have kids playing AAU basketball, shooting 35 footers at 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is killing the sport. All these other countries are going to pass us if we don't change how youth basketball changes. And I think that goes across a lot of sports. Like, it's not just basketball. That's the most obvious example. But like youth sports, and I mean, I'm an AAU hater, so I could go on a tangent about that. But like, it's just not done the right way. Like, if we're, again, and these are kids, like, them being human beings should be so much more important than their sport at that age. Like, And we're in a space now where like you're gonna see parents of we're gonna have kids one day, and the parents we're around are gonna think their 8 or 9-year-old needs an agent or needs to go do this X, Y, and Z so they can make money when they turn 17. Like it's just
Like early specialization with us, Griff. Kind of the similar
Yep.
argument.
like I don't know how much y'all know about Coach Sullivan, the men's volleyball coach at Springfield.
Griff worked with him.
Yeah, I would say he's pretty excellent at what he does.
He's not
Many-
Not bad.
excellent in many areas of life.
Yeah, I mean, U20
Probably have him
Olympic
on here.
coach. He didn't play volleyball, and he's the U20. I mean, that's pretty good, I would say. I took class with him, and he told us, like, he was like, I won't put my kids in organized sports until they're like 12 or older. Granted, being social in relationships, that's important. But he was like, they can have their friends over whenever we want. We have a half basketball court in the backyard. They can play sports in the backyard. And when it's time to go play organized sports and actually compete, they'll be ready to do that. They're not missing out by not playing 5U T-ball. And I was like, when he said that, I like had to think about it. I'm like, dang, I would have missed like playing youth sports. But it's like, I mean, I could have started at 8 or 9 and nothing would have changed. Like, shoot, I didn't start track till I was 16 or 17. Like, and I think that's so powerful. Like, to y'all's point, even from like a training lens of early specialization, like I'm sure if we looked at kids who played basketball and basketball only from 10 through end of high school, I bet they all had jumper's knee, or they all had patellar tendonitis, or they all had some injury come up or something nagging. Like, and I think it goes to all aspects of being an athlete, not just the physical body, which is obviously y'all's expertise. Like I think about if you played one sport, you interacted with a lot of people from the same background for all those years. Like a lot of sports are very like demographic in a lot of places. Like they're what bring people together, but there are also certain sports that different groups are more passionate than other people. So it's like, yeah, I'm a big, I love sports so much that I don't want to see what's happening in the US happen to youth sports with AAU and just the monetary things. But yeah, I had to go off on that tangent because like specialization so early is killing collegiate sports. And then in return, when we go to the biggest sporting event in the world, the Olympics, we're going to be fighting for our lives to hold off these other countries.
We had that conversation earlier about being a personable human being. Maybe that's part of it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
As
Same sport, same people, same routine, same everything since a young age. There's no exposure to variety in any aspect of your life. That's got to play a role in it, right?
Sure does. And I think as a coach of like an 8 or 9-year-old kid, you don't tell the kid that. You need to pull their parents to the side. Like, hey, we can't be playing basketball 12 months a year. Like I can't have Griff on the basketball court 12 months a year if he wants to be doing other things as he becomes a young adult. Like we need to, and sports should be fun, man. Like at the end of the day, like everything should be fun. The weight room should be fun. The track should be fun. Coming to my programs, you're learning, but it should be fun. Like these kids are still, college is supposed to be some of the best years of your life. Like I'm sure it still is for them, but I want to make sure like at the end of the day, they should be having fun with everything they do. And I think to kind of close that tangent I just went on, like if we're in a model where business and money are driving so many decisions, it's going to be hard to keep people and fun at the forefront. So I think people like us just got to keep giving our opinion and not being scared to tell the truth, even if it's some others don't agree with.
Griff, you got a question?
Well,
This is like these tangents we're going off on. We could talk about for a long time.
Sure could, because
conversation spanning numerous days.
We need a.
I'm more so like trying hard not to like jump in is more.
But I want coach. We want that.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt.
Please express your thoughts.
Well, since we've been talking, Oklahoma State's added 6 more players from the transfer portal. So there are now. No, I'm kidding. But honestly, they might have. Who knows?
They might have 53 now.
They might have 53. But let's talk a little bit about like the transfer portal and like what you've seen with that. Like how now, granted, I guess you haven't really like you can't speak to like necessarily what it was like beforehand. Like you weren't in the setting you're in now before the transfer portal was as prominent as it is. But like, can you just talk about like what you're seeing with athletes with that kind of stuff? Like, how's that playing with psychological and everything like that?
I think that's the piece that gets lost in it all. Like the mental piece of transferring and actually moving from school to school. Like, I mean, one, like we've talked about, money and like playing time are two of the main things driving those decisions. But like there's so many other things that come with it. Like we could have a kid come to Maryland who's 3 years through school and has 1 year of school left. But like they come to Maryland and our academics are a little different than some other schools because it's a good school and they might need to stay for 2.5 years to finish their degree because certain credits didn't transfer. Like we might have kids in our programs that are super tapped into discovering themselves and being who they are outside of their sport. And then they go somewhere else and there's no one to support them. Like those little pieces, like I think make such a big difference. Like one of my gymnasts at Pitt, who I was super close with, she came to Pitt like and was told like she did 3 years at a different school, came to Pitt, and they were like, yeah, like you'll come, you'll do your one season and you'll finish up. She's halfway through that season and they're like, yeah, you're actually not gonna graduate in the spring. Like you got to stay in the fall too. And it's like people are planning their next steps based on getting that degree. So I think one, the transfer portal is killing people getting degrees because transferring is going to change what credits go from school to school. And for the sports that have pro sports after that, like these kids don't care if they get a degree. So like you're seeing a lot less people finish school, but still staying 4 years, which like that sucks. Like if we're doing 4 years, we need to come away with a piece of paper, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I think, man, just like the mental side of it's so big. Like there's so many different ways I could go with it. That's why I'm like trying to think of how I want to answer that.
Let me jump in.
Go ahead.
So the decisions you make in life matter. Point blank, period. They do. And they influence your future. But they have implications. So in my opinion, like the transfer portal is just like, what is it teaching kids? I can just get up and leave anytime I don't like the way something's going for me. Mm-hmm. No repercussions.
Yep.
I can just drop everything and go get another bag. Like obviously most of this is most prevalent in football because it is the biggest money maker. Mm-hmm. So it's the kids are being bought the most there. So anytime I don't like my situation, I can just up and move. There's kids, seniors, like I think Malachi Nelson, he was like a 5-star QB at one point. He's going to be a senior this year. He's going to his 4th school already. Like what is that teaching kids?
Man,
that's teaching you can just do whatever you want whenever you want to? No, that's not how the world works. Mm. If I don't like my job, I don't just up and leave tomorrow and think I can go get another job the next day. That's not how it works. I'm not anti-transferring. Like I transferred.
Right. Me either. Me either.
I transferred from somewhere. So like I hold this near and dear to my heart because I didn't like the first school I was at and I was able to utilize transferring to go somewhere that was better for me. Again, going back to Colby's point, I think the primary issue is the system. These things should not be possibilities to begin with, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And as human beings, what do we look to do to a system? We look to exploit it. If there's a loophole, people are going to always find it. That's what we do.
Our brains are bred to solve problems.
And we're in an age where, going back to that point about excellence, people don't want to hold themselves to a high enough standard, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. No one should be holding anyone to a higher standard than I am for myself. If somebody else has a higher standard, maybe my wife, she might have higher standards for me than I do.
But she's more badass than you.
Oh, way more. It's not even close. But no one should be holding themselves to a higher standard for myself than I am. And if not, then I shouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror at night and be honest with myself and say, hey, I did a good day's work.
But that suppression is not universal, and I think that's a problem.
It's not universal at all. No, we're in a point now where everyone wants the easiest way to get somewhere.
You're gonna remember the relationships, the bus rides, the times, bro. I'm gonna remember us hanging out in the dorm, leaving the door open, bumping music. Like, I'm not gonna remember the day I jumped 22.4 instead of 22.10.
No,
you know what I mean? So yeah.
No. And back to talking about LeBron. The most important people in his life someday aren't going to care what record he set in the NBA.
Right.
They don't care if he's an NBA leading scorer all time. Who cares? Was he a good husband? That's what his wife's going to remember him as.
Yep.
You're always going to get
his kids are going to remember him as a father.
You're always going to get to a point where your performance in sport just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. We might remember him as a great basketball player. Who cares what we think about him? We don't even know him.
Yep.
Right.
There's not a single person at Springfield College still who cares about what me and Caden did in our sports.
Nope.
Not one. Is there people who still care about us as human
That's
beings?
about 3 days after we left.
Yep. Maybe sooner. Maybe the day we took our jersey off. Like, there's people there who still care about us and still would talk very highly about who we were for the people around us. But they're not talking about the time Caden went 2 for 3 with a double and a home run. They could care less.
Yeah, it happened often, but
Griff, what I was going to ask you too is like, transferring was probably one of the bigger decisions you've made in your life, right?
Sure.
If you were to do that a second time, do you think you could have brought yourself to do it a second time?
It's so hard to say, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many different factors that are being weighed. But that's the thing. Like, when you're making a decision, like, you have to consider what are the long-term implications.
Yep.
And like, there's all these different pieces that make up like the final decision. So it's like, I don't know. I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking about it as like a pie chart. It's like, okay, 33% of it is the academic piece, 33% is the athletic piece. And then like, it's different for each person. Like, different things hold more weight for some people, it's going to be like social environment. It might be like 50% of their decision is going to be that. So like, it just depends. Like, so for me, like, I moved back closer to home.
Yep.
So it was a place I was already familiar with. Like, I couldn't have seen myself leaving there and going somewhere else. Now, if my first transfer took me somewhere different, then maybe, but I don't know. It's like, again, it's like, there's so many things wrong with the system. There's so many things that are wrong.
Because now if we take it a step further, if your first transfer offered you $0 and you got there and the third school offered you $500K, you probably would have thought about it. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah, that's life-changing money for me.
Yep, me as well, for sure.
Yeah.
At that age, $5,000 was life-changing.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why, even 5. But like, that's why to me, like, man, we need to. We can't be letting kids have 4 years and they wear red, purple, blue, and green. They've gone to 4 different schools. Like, we need to. You can get one freebie. Absolutely. I'm all for that. Like Griff said, I'm not against the transfer portal. I love it for these kids. But you get one freebie. And then if you want to leave again, I think you either need something drastic to happen. Even for me, an injury isn't enough. Because you should be at a school where if you get hurt, if I got hurt at Springfield College and couldn't have competed, granted, I would have tried to play on a baseball team. But if I couldn't have done that, I would have been totally fine at Springfield with no sports.
Yep.
So like, you get one free transfer, and the one after that, you either need your head coach or position coach to leave, or you have to sit out a year. If you really want to be gone, you need to sit out and reflect in that decision. So again, all for the transfer portal. It's great for these kids, but we need to set some parameters to the system.
Like, I think the other thing with always chasing the money is, like, here's a scenario. Like, say one school's offering me $500K to go there. Another school's offering me $100K. But like when I sit down and am brutally honest with myself, I can like truly say, you know what, this school's offering me more money, but the school who's offering me less money is going to put me in a way better position. It fits me a lot better. And I can confidently say that they're going to develop me, whether it be as a player or as a human, better than said school that's offering me $500K.
Yep.
Like, I think we need to be able to make that decision of, hey, I'm going to take less money up front because I'm making a long-term investment about what's going to come after. Like you're betting on yourself.
Lamar Seller's dad.
Yep. Love him.
Granted,
Love him
his
for it.
season didn't go the way he planned, but his dad was like, hey, man, like $2 million is a lot of money.
Yep.
I know you got offered $5 million from a different place, but like this coach, like he bet on you. He believes in you.
Come on, man. I'm a Beamer believer too. I love that happens.
Tell you what, I went to the game this year, and
Oh,
wow, I mean, Coach Griffin and I had a conversation. It was a tough year.
Hey.
but for us on a smaller scale, like when I decided to go to Springfield, I was betting on myself.
Yep.
Because I knew up front what the grad program entailed. I knew it was a 2-year program. I knew there was a possibility for me to get my second year of school paid for. So I was signing up to pay for my first year of school already.
Yep.
That's not cheap.
No.
Sure isn't.
And I was believing in myself that, hey, I was going to be one of the people who would be a GA and get my second year paid for. That's taking a risk. Like you have to be able to take a risk and say, hey, I believe that I can do this at this school. They're going to develop me. This is the best position for me. Because if I wanted to make the best upfront financial decision, I would have just pursued another GA somewhere else, 1-year program, got my school paid for, left debt-free. But I chose the place over the current product.
Love
We
it.
could go on a tangent about risk, and I don't even know if we have the time for it tonight, but it's like this is something that I battle with all the time. Is naturally I feel like I have to calculate risk to a very like deep extent, and I don't think that's a negative. You know,
No,
what I
it's
mean?
not.
It gets to the point where you're so concerned with other factors within that risk that you never end up taking it. And the one thing I never want to look back and have is regrets.
Nope.
And so, like you said, Griff, like maybe if you went to a 1-year program and eliminated the debt, right? Maybe you'd look back and be like, my gut told me that I wanted to go to Springfield. My gut told me Springfield would offer me something better. You don't want to live that. But if you took that risk, right? You say Springfield didn't work out as ideal as you thought. You say you left for 2 years and you would have been like, I probably should have went to the 1 year. You can live with that. You know what I mean? Like you trusted yourself to make a decision. You can adjust from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like taking risks to get to a spot in life that you believe that risk is necessary to get to, like that's powerful. And that's something that like I struggle with that, man. Like Colby, you kind of touched on my future aspirations earlier. And it's like for me, I battle all the time. Like, when? What does that look like? How do I do it? Do I take the risk? You know, this, that, and the next thing. So
But I'm really thankful for these experiences. Sorry to cut you off, Colby.
No, you're
I'm
good.
really thankful for these experiences though too, because now I get to share this with other people who come and ask me for advice. Like
Dang.
I have athletes come up to me and ask me about grad school for exercise science, for strength and conditioning. They ask me for my opinion.
oh yeah.
Like I'm able to help them weigh those things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Springfield. Like, of course it doesn't. Like not everybody is meant to go to one place. But I can help them say, okay, Springfield, this is what's great about it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what's great about maybe something else. And then like ultimately I'm just giving them my experience and helping them weigh those decisions, calculate the risk. And then it's ultimately up to them to make whatever decision they feel is best for them at that time.
Yep.
Go ahead, Cole.
Man, bro, the lived experience, you learn more from living life than from anytime something tough comes up, jumping ship.
Yep.
But I'm a big quote person. Yeah, and y'all remind me of a quote. This is something I heard but back when I was at the NCAA, but it's like the front windshield is a lot bigger than the rear view mirror. So it's like betting on yourself, or like you can't always see, like you can look out the windshield, but you can't necessarily see what's a mile down the road always, or 10 miles down the road. Like, but that front windshield's bigger because we're living in the present and for the future rather than about the decisions we made in the past. And that's like, Griff, you breaking down the example of 100K at the school you want to be at versus 500K, which is a better money grab. Like, granted, some people need to just take that 500. It's like you said, it's life-changing money.
Yep.
But that's why people like us, and that's why I love my role so much. Like, I don't care what the number is. Give me the two scenarios in the situations outside of the sport and the money. That place with 100K is going to make you a better man, a better athlete, and get you a degree. Let's go there. I don't care what the numbers are. And again, your people who are getting 6 figures, you're getting that anywhere. I mean, 100K and 500K both would have changed my life at 20.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have known the difference. They both would have changed my lifestyle. So I say all that to say, like, both of y'all talking about, and Caden, you talking about risks, like, that front windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror. Like, you got to take some risks for the future, even if you're going to regret them. Like, you can't look at the past and be like, I wish I would have, I wish me and Griff would have started that podcast at 25, 24. Like, nah, y'all did it. You didn't sit there and say, like, what would have happened if we did it? Maybe we would have blown up. Maybe we wouldn't have. Maybe we just had good conversations. Like, we gotta, and that's
you're never gonna regret something that you're passionate about.
Never.
Even if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, nope. I mean, I didn't have a bad time on here. I had a great time talking to y'all. You know what I mean? Like, I leave these calls fired up to go do my job the next day.
Yep.
Like, and I think that's why we need to keep using our platform in speaking up as young professionals too. Like, I always want my student athletes to know, like, the front windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror. Like, keep working for the future you want. Don't live in,
I love that,
the decisions you could change or the things you wish you could take back and do differently. Like, yeah, we've all made mistakes we wish we could take back, and we've all made decisions that we know now were wrong when we made them, but we had to learn those lessons to move forward. And like, that's the piece that's that adversity, and that's that, like, self-discovery and leadership development that, like, myself and our staff push every day. And I think that's why we have so much more success, in my opinion, than a lot of other institutions, because we show them that tough love and we have the real authentic conversations so they can be their real authentic selves. Yeah. I don't think everyone is comfortable to tell these student athletes the truth and give them a blueprint of life. Like, it's not like any of us are living life with a manual right now of how to be a 25-year-old navigating being a young professional. There's no blueprint for life, but what we can do is tell you the things we've learned, the things we've seen be successful or unsuccessful for other people their age. And regardless of if they're having success or not, we're there to support them, period. That's just what it's going to be.
Yeah, man, that was well said. And I think you kind of wrapped it up nicely. And one question I want to ask everyone kind of before we conclude is, naturally, right, Coach Griff and I are in the same space. So a lot of, people that we have on here are going to share that space, right? Coach Fight challenged us to branch out. And this is something we talked about before. He challenged us to branch out, learn from other people, other leaders, because there's so much to learn from people in different spaces, different departments that can help us in our job, or just, provide insight and wisdom, right? And that's what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're asking you is, if you had to pick, 1, 2, maybe 3 people that you think we could learn from by having on here, like, who would you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. I've been blessed to meet a lot of different people in a lot of different spaces in this industry, man. 3 people I want
to give us 1 or 2, because
one's good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
Jungles has it backed up.
Jungles has it scheduled out for a while.
I'm gonna give y'all 3 though. I want to give y'all 3, but I want to hit some different categories. Mm-hmm. So I want to give y'all 1 from Springfield. I want to give y'all 1 person I met through the industry, and then I want to give y'all 1 student athlete. That's gonna be the 3.
That would be a cool.
All right, let's see.
Mike Anderson.
I'm gonna get y'all AJ DeBanza on here. No, I'm playing. All right, let's go 3 people. First, Springfield College. First off, shout out to Coach Fight. That's someone I never interfaced with, but I know his impact and the value he shares just from being at Springfield. All right, Springfield College. First, I'm gonna go with, who do I want y'all to talk to from SC? I'm partial, but Coach Wilkins, I think, has such a good perspective on, like, he taught me so many things about, like, the mental side of things, but like we basically made mental performance like our PED. So he taught me about sleep. He taught me about hydration, nutrition, all those things. But he's super knowledgeable in track and field and jumping. But I think he also is someone who has taken the time to learn about the people side of things and the mental side of things that advances you. So, and that's just my guy, man. I love Coach Wilkins. So he's at Quinnipiac now, but that would be my Springfield one. Someone in this industry I think would be cool to talk to. I think for y'all, it would be really cool to hear from someone who's more in the day-to-day of like NIL and the administrative types of things.
Yes, please.
Man, there's so many names I could throw out there, but I'm trying to think of someone who, I mean, that my AD at Maryland, that's my guy, but I don't know that he taking the time to do this for us. He loves people. He's a great relationship builder, but I know how busy AD is. Dang, who would be a good, I'm trying to think of someone good in the administrative space. I would actually I'm going to give you all my boy, Brandon Fisher. We worked together at the NCAA. He now works in sport administration at the Big Ten. He started in student athlete development, now does sport administration. So he's like the main point person for all the coaches and administrators in a couple sports at the conference level. So I think it'd be cool to hear from someone at a conference office who also has that NIL and student athlete experience on campus. What I say? Oh, it's current student athlete for the last one. Ooh, who do I want to give y'all, man? I've had so many student athletes these past few years that I've loved working with, man.
Hey, just make sure that they know there's no NIL money being offered here.
Yeah, this is for free. They're offering their time. All right, that rules out about 90% of the student athletes.
Exactly.
Man. I gotta give a shout out to my guy, Kanate Mumfield. He's on the Rams, playing in the playoffs right now. So shout out to him. If he wasn't busy, he's just a great human being. And I was inspired by his journey. So shout out to K9. Man, who would be my best student athlete? You know who I want y'all to talk to? I would love for y'all to talk to my current SAC president. So our student leader group. He's the president of that group. His name's AJ Larkin. He's on our men's lacrosse team here at Maryland. And he's someone he's a senior. His first 2 years didn't get involved in anything. Like, was here. Our lacrosse team is national championship is the standard. He was very much locked in on lacrosse, getting that done. And he started coming around to some of our stuff and basically decided, like, you know what? Like, no, I want to make some change for the student body. And he took over SAC and has been the president this year, and he's done exactly that. So he has a great perspective because he comes from arguably one of our best sports, but not a revenue generating sport. So I think he has a really cool perspective as the student leader. So yeah, that's gonna be my big three right there. I got Coach Wilkins, we got Brandon Fisher, B Fish, and we got AJ Larkin. Those my three. So
All right.
yeah, man, it's a lot of good people, but I hope I set the tone before any of them come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I want to thank you, obviously. One, for coming on here and taking your time. Two, for just the constant communication we have. You know what I mean? The friendship we have, the trust we have, and the relationship that, we allow ourselves to challenge each other and grow. And I think I have the same relationship with Coach Griff, and that's relationships I'm looking for, right? That's why Coach Griff and I started this. How can we learn from others, challenge our thought process, etc. I'm really hoping that this reporting held strong, man. I mean, the damn Wi-Fi made it tough for me to digest everything, and I'm very upset about it because the conversation was phenomenal. But yeah, man, I just wanted to thank you, Coach Griff, whatever you want, but I appreciate you. I know this is going to be a cool segue into a different space for anyone who cares to listen, and it was cool to hear on my end. So,
Man, yeah. Griff, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, these are the conversations that I love because, like you said, it does just motivates me and reminds me of why I chose to do what I do.
Yep.
And to kind of all wrap it up, it's about that influence and it's about the development of people. And honestly, didn't have a great day at work today. Honestly, probably wasn't the best version of myself. Came home, was kind of I don't know, just wasn't you have those days. I wasn't feeling it today. I was feeling kind of discouraged, honestly, feeling kind of oh man, feeling bad for myself. This is a great conversation that I needed today to have about just to serve as a reminder of you know what, man, this is about the kids. Like I do it for the kids.
Man, I love that you just hit on that because I'm coming from like the very opposite end of that spectrum. I had a great day. We're doing our staff retreat right now, getting ready for the spring semester, and I had a great day, and I think that gave me momentum for this. But I think like that vulnerability and like honesty is why the three of us are going to be very successful at what we do. We can acknowledge when we have a bad day as a leader, but we can put that aside for the kids and show up for them. So I want to thank y'all for giving me the platform, man. I know being our age, like it's tough to start something like this, and you know, social media is not an easy place, and you know, you have to use your personal platforms to do these types of things. So I appreciate y'all giving me the space. Like Griff, I know we don't have as much history as me and Kaden have, but I feel like I'm living in the conversations y'all have as well, just through him. And Kaden, obviously you like a brother to me. We live together, so that's your family at that point. You stuck with me, so I appreciate you holding me accountable in my personal workouts now as a non-athlete, and just the constant support and lifting me up in this industry. So I appreciate y'all giving me the platform, man. This is why I do what I do. I like building relationships and helping people be who they want to be. So I appreciate y'all making this space, and yeah, man, I'm excited to watch y'all continue to take off. This was a great convo.